Katy is a wonderful place to live in a great suburb of Houston. However, there are some areas that are not so great. In this video, I'm gonna go over the top 10 best neighborhoods to consider when relocating to Katy so you're not wasting your time and your money. All right, so I'm gonna start it off with counting down the top 10 best neighborhoods out in Katy. But first, I'm gonna let you know that I'm not gonna talk about neighborhoods that you might wanna avoid. I don't do that because people live there. That's their homes. I'm not gonna dump on their neighborhood. You know, when we do work together about looking for areas or homes in Katy, I'm gonna kind of focus on certain neighborhoods and obviously those within the budget. And we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of every area. But I'm just not gonna tell you, like, don't buy over here. That's just not how I work. The other thing too is that there are so many wonderful neighborhoods in Katy that's impossible to fit them all in just a top 10 list. So if I miss a neighborhood that you really like, whether you live in it or not, go ahead and put it in the comments below so that other people relocating to Katy kind of get some other neighborhoods to consider. So with that, let's start off with number 10, and that's Falcon Point. So Falcon Point has a great location. It is west of Grand Parkway or Highway 99 and south of I-10. It's not too far from either, so you have great options of getting on the freeways. Some of the things I really like about the community is that it is a golfing community. It has a golf course that runs throughout the community, so you obviously see the greens and the lakes and bunkers and everything rolling throughout the neighborhood. And it is actually a little bit smaller of a neighborhood, so you know there's not a ton of homes available for sale at any one time, so definitely keep that in mind. The other great thing about living in Falcon Point is that you're right next to Katy Mills Mall, which obviously you have all the shopping, but then there's a ton of restaurants right around the area. So I'm gonna make a video with all the neighborhoods that have golf courses within them in the Katy area, and when it's made, it'll be in the card above or in the Katy playlist on my channel. Some of the challenges with the neighborhood is that you will get some traffic or cut through traffic on Falcon Point Drive of those getting out to Katy Mills Mall. They widen Kingsland, so it's less traffic going through there now, but it still is a little bit of a challenge. The other thing too is that it is a golfing club community, so you have to pay to be part of the club at Falcon Point, the golf club. And so that a little extra expense, I believe it's around $350 to $400 currently for the monthly fees, but obviously that can change. Schools currently are Rylander Elementary, which is a great elementary, and Katy High School. The taxes currently for the neighborhood, it's around about 2.45%. Obviously that can change, but pretty manageable. Okay, so maybe you're not much of a golfer and you don't really care to be on a golf course. Not a problem. This next neighborhood may be what you're looking for, especially if you like more unique houses, larger, older homes, because it's a wonderful neighborhood. And coming in at number 9 is Pin Oak Village. So Pin Oak Village is just west of Falcon Point. It is right south of I-10, so it has great access to I-10. So the location is really wonderful. So what I love about Pin Oak Village is that the homes are rather large. You'll find some homes that are under 3,000 square feet, but most are 3,000 to 5,000 square feet. Their older homes are built in the 80s and 90s, so you will have a little bit more of the charm, like double crown molding. You'll usually have a formal sitting room. A lot of times obviously a study and formal dining. So there's definitely some cool aspects of that, and some definitely will need some updating if you prefer more of an updated style, but many of the homes actually do have a little bit more of an open floor plan for the time, so that's always a benefit. I also like that, again, it has great access to I-10, but it's right next to Katy Mills Mall, which is wonderful because you have all the shopping at Katy Mills Mall. There's the water park, and then tons of restaurants right around there, so you just have lots to select from. And H-E-B is just right around the corner, so it's always great to have a grocery store close by. Currently, Pin Oak Village is zoned to Katy Elementary and Katy High School, so some highly rated schools. And also the tax rate tends to run between 2.2 to 2.4%, so again, very low. So Pin Oak does have your typical amenities of a pool, tennis court, playground, walking trails here and there, so that's wonderful. Some of the challenges with the neighborhood is that, again, there's gonna be some traffic getting on and off I-10 right there. It gets a little bit congested, but thankfully you don't have to go too far once you get past those couple lights right there just south of I-10. And then two, also, it's an older home, so you have older home problems, plumbing, electrical, electrical, sometimes foundation issues. So definitely do your due diligence during the inspection period. Okay, so maybe you're not into an older neighborhood with older homes like Pin Oak Village. You want something newer and just move-in ready. Well, then I have the neighborhood for you. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul Holub. I'm the broker here at Traditions Realty, and I help people relocate to Katy in Houston all the time, and I'd love to help you with your move here. Feel free to reach out, text or call on this number here on the screen, or you can sign up and shoot me an email here through my website. My goal here with this channel is to produce some high quality videos teaching you about the various areas throughout the Houston area. So if that's of interest to you, please like and subscribe. So with that, let's get to the next neighborhood. And our next neighborhood is Ventana Lakes. Now, Ventana Lakes is a little further north of I-10, just west of Grand Parkway. It's not too far, and access is pretty good, but you will take a little ways getting there, especially during rush hour. Getting home does kind of back up around Clay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Homes were built from 2012 through 2022, so you will have obviously newer houses, and the neighborhood was built and developed by D.R. Horton, so they built some quality houses at some rather affordable prices, so you will find some nice resale homes. So some of the challenges with the neighborhood is you will have some traffic getting home, which is pretty typical for most Houston areas, but also the roads currently are rather, tiny. They're just 2-lane roads. They're expanding them currently, so hopefully by the time you're watching this video, they're all done. And then also to the schools are KDIC, however, currently they're not rated very well. They're all rated about a B rating right now. So hopefully that improves over time. And then also the taxes are rather high. They're in the low 3%. So definitely speak with your lender about how that's gonna impact your monthly mortgage payment. All right, so that's number 8, Ventana Lakes. Now coming in at number 7 is our next neighborhood, and it too is full of lakes, and some may even call them grand, and that leads us to Grand Lakes. Okay, yeah, it was, it was a little bit cheesy, I got it. So Grand Lakes lies south of I-10, right along the Grand Parkway. Most of it's east of the Grand Parkway, but there are a few sections on the west side. So it does have some easy access. Homes here were built from 1998 through 2008, and they have a variety of different styles and sections. Some of my favorites have like a porte-cochere. I like it just because, something a little bit different and provides extra parking. But there are some other kind of random sections. One section I'm not a big fan of actually has like a very close lot line. So the homes are actually really close to the streets, and they tend to have some weird layouts. So just my personal opinion, but for the most part, a lot of the floor plans are great. There's tons of walking trails, pool, parks, tennis courts are some of the amenities. And so it has a lot going for it, and it has a neat sense of community as well. So some of the challenges with the neighborhood is that, you'll have some road noise, obviously, because it is so close to Grand Parkway. So if you're sensitive to that, you may want to find something a little further away from Grand Parkway. The other thing too is that during Hurricane Harvey in 2017, some sections did flood quite extensively. Those will be kind of the further southeast side, right along the bayou. So definitely take a look at the flood maps before you purchase if you want to avoid a previously flooded house. Grand Lakes is zoned to all KDIC schools, and almost all of them are all highly rated. So there's definitely some peace of mind there. And the tax rates between 2.3 to 2.4%. So number 7 is Grand Lakes. Now this next neighborhood is a little further west. It's a little newer and has more of the amenities as you would find in a newer master plan community, and that is Firethorn. Firethorn is the far western part of Katy. It is south of I-10, so it's gonna be a little bit further of a drive. So like the amenities at Firethorn, it does have a meeting area, pool, tennis courts, playgrounds, sports fields, lakes, walking trails, and much more. And I've actually swam in their lake before. I did a sprint triathlon there, and it was a ton of fun, but I absolutely died on the bike. So they do a lot of other events like that throughout the year. The homes were built in the early 2000s through the early 2020s. They have a nice mix of entry-level homes all the way up through luxury-level houses. I love that when you come into Firethorn Boulevard, you have these more luxury homes with larger lots right along the main road there. Really just kind of a neat entrance, and have all the amenities on the right side. So a really great, well-designed neighborhood. So one of the challenges with the community is that it's just location is on the far western side of Katy, so it takes a little bit longer to get to. The other thing too is that there used to be just really one access from I-10, and that's through 1463. It was basically like a 2-lane road, and so it would definitely back up at rush hour. They're working on widening the road, but also they've built other entrances, so it's really kind of lessened some of the traffic during rush hour. And the other thing too is that not all of the neighborhood is in Katy ISD. About, I'd say maybe 70% of the neighborhood is Katy ISD, and the other 30% is Lamar Consolidated. So Lamar Consolidated is a great school district, but if you do want to stay in Katy ISD, definitely know where that is when you are buying in Firethorn. Taxes range from 2.4 to 2.8%. So that's number 6, Firethorn. And this next neighbor coming up at number 5 is much closer on the eastern side of Katy, so your commute will be much less, and that is Green Trails. So what I love most, again, about Green Trails is the location. It is just south of I-10 on the far eastern portion of Katy ISD. So it has just great access on I-10, and your commute is going to be much lower than if you were far west from Grand Parkway. These homes were built in the late 80s through the early 2000s, so you have a wide range of home styles. Now, many of them are within the 2,000 square foot range, but you will find many sections that are larger than 3,000 square feet. So if you are looking for larger homes, this should fit your needs. Green Trails does have some great amenities with pools, tennis courts, parks, and of course, Green Trails. Green Trails is all zoned to Katy ISD and currently is zoned to Taylor High School, Pattison Elementary, and Nottingham Country Elementary. All the schools are great. My clients tend to prefer Nottingham Country, but Pattison is a solid elementary as well. Tax rates are very low, around 2.1%. So in case you're looking for just new homes or newer homes in the Katy area, I put together a list of my favorite top new home communities in Katy. It's in the little card above or in the description below, and that's going to take you to these wonderful master plan communities that have all the amenities and the newer modern floor plans. So that's number 5, Green Trails. This next neighborhood, if you are looking for a new house, would not be one you'd consider because it has these beautiful older homes, unique architecture, mature tree-lined streets, and that consists of number 4, Nottingham Country. Nottingham is just west of Green Trails. It's south of I-10. So again, easy access to I-10, and that is actually a rather large neighborhood. It spans from I-10 on south down to Highland Knolls. So many of the homes were built in the 1980s. So you'll see very traditional things like wet bars, old intercom systems, and many of the homes will have 8-foot ceilings and have either ranch style homes or traditional 2-story homes. The architecture tends to be a little more varied. The layouts are going to be a little more closed off, but you will see many updated homes and people put their spin and charm on these older houses. So Nottingham Country is quite unique. Some sections have alleyways behind the house where the garage is behind the home and you have access to it behind there, which is very uncommon in the Katy and Houston area. To your traditional 2-story homes and ranch style homes in a neighborhood. So you have a little bit of everything in between. It's even some really custom luxury homes with 5,000 square feet or more. So you're gonna have that nice traditional look to these homes. So some of the challenges with the neighborhood is that, with older houses, you'll have, older AC units and roofs, piping, electrical, and some things that are out of code, and then sometimes some foundation issues. So you will have to deal with some older home type stuff, which, to be expected. Also, some areas did flood from Hurricane Harvey in 2017, but it really wasn't widespread. It's just a few homes along the bayou here and there. So definitely check the flood maps for that, and also the seller's disclosure to see what previous homes did flood. All the schools are in Katy ISD. The elementary school is Nottingham Country Elementary, and high school is Taylor High School. And the taxes are 2.2 to 2.4% currently. So Nottingham Country is great, and I love it. But it's not for everybody. Some people just want move-in ready and new and ultra modern. Then if that's you, then you need to pay attention because this next neighborhood coming in at number 3 is Cane Island. So Cane Island is located on the north side of I-10, and it's west of Old Town Katy or downtown Katy. And in case you're wondering, it's not an island, it's just a beautiful master plan community. So they began building Cane Island in 2015, and as of today, toward the end of 2023, they are still building new homes in Cane Island, but they are close to finishing up. And if you're looking for all the amenities provided by the newer master plan communities, then this is not going to disappoint because they have their own restaurant, workout facility, meeting area, ice cream shop, and also a variety of other things from walking trails, lakes, pools, splash pad, and also a lifestyle coordinator who's going to put on events throughout the year. So that's pretty amazing to really kind of dive into the community with all the wonderful amenities. So one of the biggest challenges of this neighborhood is just the higher taxes. Currently, the taxes range from 3.3% to about 3.6%. So that's definitely on the higher side. And then as they develop the area and community and more businesses come in, that tax rate will lower over time, but right now it's pretty steep. Okay, so if living on an island is really not your thing and you're more of a ranch person, then this next neighborhood coming in at number 2 is gonna be a good fit for you, and that's Cross Creek Ranch. Cross Creek Ranch is an amazing master plan community. I really like it. It's got over 3,200 acres in which they're building, and they are continuing to build in Cross Creek, and particularly the newest section, which is Cross Creek West. Now, Cross Creek Ranch is located on the far western side of Katy ISD, and actually most of it lies in Lamar Consolidated and actually the city of Fulshire. And the new section is located on 359, and that again is Cross Creek West. The cool thing is that if you purchase a home in Cross Creek West, you still have access to all the amenities in the original Cross Creek Ranch and vice versa. So they are trying to share in all the amenities. So speaking of amenities, it has all of the modern ones, as I mentioned in Cane Island. It has its own restaurant, a fitness center, walking trails, lakes, pools, splash pads, just tons of things to do. And it has a very peaceful feel as you're walking and driving through Cross Creek Ranch, just because of the many walking trails, the mature trees, the lakes. It even has a massive hill for which you can climb up and kind of look out. And I say massive, it's massive for Houston standards because we don't have hills. We just have flat land for the most part. So it's kind of a big deal. Some of the challenges of Cross Creek Ranch include the higher property taxes, which currently range between 2.9 and 3.4%. So it's definitely gonna add to your monthly payment. The other thing too is that it's on the far western part of Katy. So it is a bit of a trip to get there. So you're definitely gonna have to figure out if it's worth the drive for you, particularly if you're commuting to downtown or the Galleria. If you're in the energy corridor, obviously work from home, it's gonna be definitely more manageable, but it does have access to the Grand Parkway, obviously West Park Tollway, and you do have access to I-10, although you may have to take some windy roads to get up there. So definitely keep that in mind and work out your commute before you decide to buy out in Cross Creek Ranch. And the schools are some KDIC schools, but for the most part, it's Lamar Consolidated. Okay, that brings us down to our last and final neighborhood in my countdown of top 10 neighborhoods in Katy, Texas. Now, if you are in Katy, you're probably guessing what the top neighborhood is. If you're not, just remember the number 5 because the top neighborhood is Cinco Ranch. Or 5 ranches for you non-Spanish speakers out there, like myself. So I'm a little partial to Cinco Ranch. As full disclosure, I did grow up in Cinco, but I do think it's an amazing master plan community and you definitely have to check it out. So looking at on the map, if you like an older, more mature neighborhoods, then definitely check out Cinco Ranch on the east side of Grand Parkway because that's known as Old Cinco. Now it's not really that old. Most of the homes were built in the late 80s through early 2000s. And then the portion, or many of the portions west of Grand Parkway were built in the early 2000s up to 2022. So they are all finished building Cinco, but they do have some wonderful sections. Then everything west of 99 is known as New Cinco, and not technically everything, but the newer stuff built in the 2010s for the most part and newer is known as Cinco Ranch Southwest and Cinco Ranch Northwest, or we just call it Cinco West. And Cinco Ranch is a massive community with over 7,600 acres in total. Cinco Ranch was the original ranch neighborhood, and because of its popularity, other neighborhoods with ranch in them popped up. And so there's a ton of them. You got Silver Ranch, Pine Mill Ranch. And Cinco has all the amenities you can think of, from pools, lakes, tennis courts, to fun things like a mini water park, a little amphitheater for events and concerts. Cross Creek Ranch, Young Ranch. And then also it's got a place called the Beach Club, which is a pool with a sandy beach entrance that also has a clubhouse and area to play beach volleyball, and then also a place where you can rent paddle boats and just kind of paddle around the lake. So it has a ton of amenities that you really get to enjoy when you live in Cinco Ranch. Falcon Ranch, Morton Ranch. Cinco Ranch is zoned to Katy ISD, and when you buy in Cinco, you have the great knowledge of that pretty much all of them are going to be top rated schools. Cinco Ranch also has a 55 plus section where people over the age of 55 can purchase there, and they're all single family homes with an event center for activities throughout the year. Cardiff Ranch, Eagle Ranch. Some of the challenges with Cinco Ranch is that you will have obviously traffic in the area, particularly the further west you go. And then also some of these homes, particularly Old Cinco, is full of older houses built in the 80s and early 90s that will need some repairs and updating as time goes on. Freeman Ranch, Jordan Ranch. Tax rates range from 2.3 to 2.8%. Katy Creek Ranch, Morton Creek Ranch, Polo Ranch. That's really about it. If I didn't get to your neighborhood or get it in the top 10, please feel free to comment below in the comment section with the neighborhood and why you like it so much. Obviously, there are tons of great neighborhoods in Katy, and I couldn't put them all in my top 10, but please do that below. And if you are thinking about buying a brand new house in Katy, watch this video next as it goes over my favorite master plan communities in which you can build a brand new home in.